Hi there, in this video we are talking about how to get really high performance from yourself and your clients. Why would somebody not want to perform at the highest of their levels? And still, often we kind of draw back ourselves. We don't really live our potential. We don't really get the best out of us. We're going to talk about the 6 principles so you can get even a more optimal performance from your clients and, of course, from yourself. Now, before we get started, if you have enjoyed the videos until now that we have posted, hit the like button or go ahead and subscribe so every week you're notified when we release a new video. Now, let's get down to business. Firstly, let's really define what does high performance even mean. High performance for me really means that you are able to get more out of yourself than you have ever been before. And you're able to do that over a really extended period of time. The reason why that is defined as high performance is because high performance is relative to the person that you're working with. Something that is high performing for me may not be high performing for somebody else, or vice versa. And which is why high performance is a very personal thing. What you always want to ask yourself is, if you are a high performing individual, is to see how your past performance has been and how your future performance is, or your current performance is, and how it is sustained over an extended period of time. Now, it's very important that your performance sustains over a period of time, because otherwise it's just a spike in your performance, but you are not really becoming a high performing individual. The first area is clarity. Clarity allows you to focus on a particular outcome that you are really trying to achieve. When you're clear about something, it allows you to focus in your efforts toward getting that thing. And which is why the first principle of high performance is to be able to get tremendous amount of clarity in action, tremendous amount of clarity towards the direction that you want to go. Clarity really comes if you're clear in these 3 areas. First is passion. What is it that you're passionate about? And I'm not talking about passion that's fickle, not the passion that you get because you went to Italy and now you love pasta. I'm talking about real passion, passion that is sustained over a long period of time. It's like I have passion for coaching and education, and because of that, I've always involved myself in something that does anything to do with coaching or education. That's my passion. That's my fuel. The second important thing is purpose. You need to know why you do something. Now, usually purpose would be externally focused. For example, if you are a purpose-driven individual, you would say, I have the purpose of helping a community. I have the purpose of helping another individual. I may have a purpose towards the greater good of the society. I may have a purpose towards serving humanity and loving humanity. That is my purpose in life. My purpose is to be better as an individual every single day and contribute to the greater good of the world. You need to know your purpose because it gives you that final destination that you're really going towards. And lastly is practicality. See, a lot of times we are very passionate individuals and purpose-driven individuals, but we don't really put practicality behind our passion and purpose. You need practicality to use your passion to fulfill your purpose. And that's why passion, purpose, practicality, when you're clear about all these 3 areas, you get tremendous focus, you get tremendous drive, and you're able to progress towards your future. You're able to progress with commitment and focus towards your future, hence deriving high performance out of you. The second element of high performing individuals is courage. You see, when you are about to create something that is greater than you, when you're trying to be a better version of yourself, you're going to need to do things that you may not have done before, things that you may sometimes be uncomfortable doing in the first place. And hence, you need courage. You need courage that will help you to really be able to take that step, even if it looks a little bit or very much scary. Which is why courage is important. And courage is the second element of getting high performance out of you. Now, how do you get courage? Where is this magical potion of courage available? Well, you get courageous when you make a commitment. You see, as human beings, when we commit to something, we try and make action towards it. We try and take action towards it, especially if that commitment is driven with a strong sense of why are you making that commitment. If you are wanting courage to, say, speak on stages, what you need to do first is to make a commitment that you will be speaking on stages, and then define why that commitment is so important to you. Why speaking on stages is so important to you. Because if it is, you will find a play, an action book that will help you get on more stages. And that's really how courage is developed. Once you have made the commitment, once you have defined your why, once you take action, a new belief is formed in you, which is a more courageous belief, right? And because that new belief is formed, it also allows you to make a new commitment and define the why of that commitment and build a belief that will eventually let you have even more courage. And as you develop your courage more and more and more, your confidence starts to develop around that area of life or those areas of life that you're achieving. For that matter, often it is seen that when you show courage in one area of your life, you tend to show courage in another area of your life. Which means courage is kind of contagious within your own body, within your own biology, within your own spirituality. Which means courage, once experienced, has the ability to really turn you into a high-performing individual across the board, across all areas of your life. The third principle of high-performing individuals is productivity. Productivity is simply defined as getting more done in less time. How quickly can you get done something without taking that much time in doing it? And that's really what productivity is. There's so many tools that can help you be more productive, but I'm going to talk about 3 really simple principles that have helped me and my clients get tremendously productive and get more done in their time than anything else. The first principle is called Pareto principle. Pareto principle is simply put as the 80-20 rule. By 80-20 rule, it simply means that 80% of your activities only yield 20% of your results, and 20% of your activities yield 80% of your results. And so if you do a really good job on these 20% of activities and you continue to get more performance in these 20% activities, you'll be able to generate even more results because that compounds to about 80% of your results, which means it gives you focus on the 20% of the activities. Now what I found is when you find the 20% of the activities and even do 80-20 of that, you find that 1, 2, or maybe 3 activities that really moves the needle for your health, for your body, for your work, whatever that is the focal area for you to get more performance out of you. The second principle is called Parkinson's law. This simply means that work will always fill the time assigned to it, which means if you give a task 8 hours to do, it'll take 8 hours to do. If you give it that same task only 2 hours to do, you will end up doing it in 2 hours. And the reason why that principle works in that way is because we as human beings have a lot of ability to really fill up time in our brains and in our activities. So if we actually take more concentrated effort and say, all right, I don't need to do these many activities, or I don't need to give this much time to this activity, you will tend to find faster ways to actually get that activity done. And that will make you even more productive. The third principle that I absolutely love is called deep work. Deep work is simply that if you really focus on one task at a time and don't try to do multiple tasks at the same time, just focusing on one thing and then get it done, you're more likely to do it with higher quality, you're more likely to do it in a better way, you're more likely to get more done in less time, making you outrageously more productive. So 3 principles that will get more productivity out of your clients and out of you is the Pareto principle, the Parkinson's law, and deep work. The fourth principle is called emotional calibration. You see, we are constantly feeling emotions. We're constantly feeling anxiety, fear, excitement, love, respect, whatever the different emotions are. And there are many emotions that we are moving between all the time. The thing with emotions is, this is the way we experience life. Like emotions tell us if we like something, we don't like something, do we find something disgusting, do we find something fun, right? So emotions are really useful to really get the juice of life, to get the enjoyment of life. But emotions sometimes can be a deterrent in getting more performance of ourselves because, say for example, you're feeling sad and you're in that spiral. Because you're in that spiral, you constantly turn down and down and down, and you're in that spiral for a really long time, and then suddenly you realize, I was supposed to do these 10 things and I didn't do any. The reason? Because you were in the downward spiral. And sometimes that simply happens because we don't know what we are feeling, because we don't identify with the emotions that are happening for us. So the way to really deal with emotions, the way to really understand how they play out in our life, is to understand what I call emotional calibration. Emotional calibration is simply you identifying what emotion is it that you're really feeling and what is the reason why that emotion has shown up for you, right? So for example, if you are really feeling down, just saying I feel down doesn't mean anything because it won't let you identify what led you to come to this place where you feel down, right? What you want to identify is what is that emotion really, like what is that is really sitting for you as an emotion, right? So say for example, oh, I'm feeling down because I'm really feeling anxiety. So anxiety is leading you to feel a particular way, and that is the identified emotion. And say you label it. You say, okay, this is anxiety. Anxiety has shown up in my life. Now what you look for is what is the event or the circumstance that led for you to feel anxious right now. You identify that circumstance or an event that led you to get to this emotion and say, all right, so because I looked at my bank account, I got anxious, right? Or because I got that bill, I got anxious. Now there are two ways to deal with it, right? First is, did you really need to look at that bill? Did you really need to look at your bank account? And if you can avoid that, well, you've caused yourself to not getting anxious again the next time and not go into that down spiral. The second way of doing it is to see, okay, why is it that this circumstance, this event causes me anxiety? Why is looking at my bank account causes me anxiety? Why is it looking at a bill causes me anxiety? Because when you look at why this thing is causing you anxiety, it allows you to be able to now reflect and go, okay, what is the belief that I have behind this particular event, this circumstance? What is it that happens for me when this happens? So I can now change my outcome because now I know why I am feeling a particular way, right? You see, most of the time, if you put facts in place, you can get the emotions to turn much faster. And that's really what we are looking at here, is how can I look at an emotion and relate it back to a fact or a situation or a circumstance? Because once I have a fact, I can rationalize it, and if I can rationalize it, I can get past it. And it's the same for your clients. If you look at, if they say, oh, I just don't feel productive, that's not really an emotion. Let's try to identify what is it that is behind that lack of productivity. What is the emotion that's sitting behind the lack of productivity? Because once we identify what that emotion is, it now allows us to be able to tackle it. The fifth element is physical movement. You see, often we forget that our biology is as much responsible for our state of action or inaction as much as our mental state, right? Because yes, your mind plays tricks and it tells you things, and yes, you can work on your mind, but if your body is not doing what it needs to do, it's not releasing the hormones it needs to release, it's not doing the magic of biology, you are going to not feel good. And that's just the truth of it, right? So if there is no physicality in your life, if there is no physical movement in your life or your client's life, there is going to be a tendency that you will feel lethargic, that you will feel lazy, that you will feel not good enough, that you will feel like you're not able to get most out of your time. And all of those things happen not because you are actually lazy, but because your body hasn't moved, and so the energy that your body has starts to sink in and kind of get suppressed, right? So you want to find a way for you or your clients to constantly be in some kind of movement. And the movement doesn't have to be some heavy duty exercise. It doesn't have to be gym for an hour. It can be 10 minutes, 20 minutes. It could be a long walk. Whatever that is, that will allow you and your clients to move a little and get your body into some motion, because as the body moves into motion, energy moves. And so if, let's say, you were feeling any kind of particular emotion, if your body moves, you will be able to move your emotion as well, and you'll see how your state changes. Because also biologically, when you work out, when you create movement, the right kind of chemicals kind of come out and then allow your body to refresh itself and your state to change. Let's take an example. Right now, when we're recording this, we are doing it in my guest bedroom because we are in a lockdown in Los Angeles, California. And as I'm recording this, I've been cooped up for about 3.5 weeks, which meant that I haven't been able to do my routine gym. I've been walking and so forth, but at the same point in time, I've not been really able to move the way I was moving before this lockdown happened. So I put myself to a task. I was like, okay, listen, yes, I can pick up a couple of weights and I can do a little walk here and there, but that's not really moving my emotions as much as I would like to. I was not really moving my body as much as I like to. It doesn't put me in my highest performance state as I would like to. So I set myself up to say, all right, I'm going to do 1,000 burpees in the next 30 days, right? It's not a lot of burpees. I mean, if you're somebody who does gym a lot, would realize it's only about 35, 40 burpees a day, which is actually not a lot. You could very easily do it over the course of the whole day. But at the same point in time, it puts me to a task of moving myself physically and tracking it that I'm actually moving myself physically every single day by doing at least 35 burpees a day, right? That is how you put yourself into a physical movement. You just have to create a rhythm, a challenge for yourself to constantly do something that moves your body, because once your body moves, it almost pulls itself through. Your body tells you, this is good, I feel good, please keep doing it. And that really gets you and keeps you in movement. Lastly, but probably one of the most important things in creating high performance for yourself and for your clients is identity. Who do you think you are? And how do you think that person of who you think you are operates? Defines what your identity for yourself is. And if your identity is of a person that is not a high performer, it'll be very hard for you to take your clients to a high performance level. Identity is you defining who am I as a person and how do I need to show up to be congruent with who I am as a person. So if I said I'm a person that moves their body, if I'm a person who is a high performing individual, I'm a person who learns and understands every single day, I grow and serve every single day, that's my identity. I embody it, I can live it every single day, because what I do is once I've identified my identity, once I know what my identity is, I define what that person with that identity will be behaving like. How would I be as a person if that was my identity? If my identity was a high-performing individual, would I be following these 6 principles? The answer is yes. And because I would be following these 6 principles, I would be constantly creating ways for me to follow through on each of these items. And hence, I would have the personality of a high-performing individual, right? I've shifted myself. Now, here's one big important thing that happens when you shift your identity, is you shift the processes associated with the identity. What does that mean? Like I said, if I believe I'm a high-performing individual, and that means I would follow these 6 principles, I would resonate with these 6 areas of life, that would mean I would have a process to get really clear. I will have a process to move my physical body, to calibrate my emotions, to be able to be a very productive individual, to constantly challenge my own identity, right? Because this is the process that a high-performing individual follows. And hence, everything associated I need to get done, right? So that's how you shift your processes. And here's another reason why you shift your processes, is because when things get hard and motivation is affected, we think we can watch a video, go to a seminar and get motivated. And yes, you can, but for a really short period of time, because motivation is temporary. Processes, or how we follow through on something, is permanent. It's like, what's your de facto when you're stressed out? Now, a lot of people, and this is just me giving an example right now, but a lot of people have a de facto of going to the fridge when they're stressed out. Is that your de facto? When you're stressed out, do you just go back to the fridge? That's your identity. Your identity is I go to the fridge to relieve myself from the stress. There's another identity that you could have, is when I'm stressed, I'm going to do 10 burpees, right? When I'm feeling anxiety, I'm going to do 10 burpees. When I'm not feeling productive, I'm going to do 10 burpees. Whatever that is for you will change the way you operate and put you from a place of not really living your optimal performance to somebody who lives a high-performing life. So ask yourself, what's your identity? Define it. Who are you as a person? And then ask yourself a better question of who you want to be as a person. And once you know who you want to be as a person, start living like that person today. So these are the 6 principles of a high-performing individual: clarity, courage, productivity, emotional calibration, physical movement, and identity. Which one is it that you're going to work on first? Go ahead and leave that comment in the comment section below. I am certain you enjoyed this video and you found it really useful. If that is the case, go ahead and hit the like button, let us know in the comments, and of course subscribe to the channel so we can notify you next time the next useful video gets posted on this particular channel. Also remember, sharing is caring, which means if you love this video and you know of somebody who would totally benefit from it, go ahead and send this link to them. There's nothing to opt in, there's nothing really to do, but to watch and get some great information for themselves to live an even more high-performing life. Thank you so much for watching. We love you.